On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, SGA shows you why he's the MVP with this win over Golden State.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your teams every day, now the number one sports podcast network in the world. I'm your host, media member, and beat writer for ThunderOnSI.com, Rylan Stiles. Follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. On today's show, we're diving into the Thunder staving off the Warriors on their late comeback. SGA takes over in the clutch, showing you why he is the MVP, and JDub's best game since returning from injury, all on today's show. Thank you to you everydayers who make this show work, make us the number one sports podcast in the world. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create your account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. In this game, it was the 10 p.m. tip on NBC. Luckily, the Thunder are done with the 10 p.m. tips because that was brutal. But alas, we fight through it. Some would say that this is a heroic performance to record this show after a 10 p.m. tip. I would say I'm just doing my job. I don't need the applause. I don't need the recognition for this. But the Thunder were without Isaiah Hartenstein, Alex Caruso, and Lou Dort. The Warriors without Steph Curry and Al Horford. And in this game, like Pods, first of all, started out with an amazing game in this one, and it felt like OKC was just a few conversions away from blowing the Warriors out. They were getting the stops early on at a high enough rate to make this a lopsided affair. Jimmy Butler got going to start the second quarter to stop that from happening, but then on a dime, it was a professional close to the half. It was OKC forcing 11 first-half turnovers, sparking on a 9-0 run to end the second quarter in a bigger picture 21-9 run, which got them up by their largest lead at 19 at the halftime. That quickly swelled up to over 20 points in this game, 22 to be exact. And yet, the Warriors didn't go away. Credit to Golden State for throwing one of the best counterpunches all season that we've seen this team have to take. Out of the locker room, Golden State goes to his own defense. That really stalled OKC's offense in a big way. They cut the lead to 13, then down into single digits at 7. Then they ultimately regained the lead, Golden State did, primarily because of that zone defense and also because of two other key factors. Oklahoma City could not sink their free throws, and man, did they turn that basketball over. They turned it over. I mean, look at this. They both finished the game, Golden State and OKC does, with 15 turnovers total. Well, Golden State had 11 at the half. They turned it over just 4 more times the rest of the way. And against this Thunder defense, if you're going to protect the ball at that rate, it's no surprise that you're going to have success while the Thunder are giving it away themselves. And that zone defense really gave the Thunder problems of getting shots up. It led to some turnovers. But if you really look at it, in that third quarter alone, OKC shot 55% from the floor. It was the turnovers that killed them. For as sloppy and for as bad as you believe that this offense played in the second half, which you would be right for the most part, at the end of the day, OKC shot 58% from the floor. They shot 46% from three, and they shot 73% at the free throw line. It's turnovers and missed free throws that you cannot have. Because when they did generate shots, they made them at a 58% clip. They could not generate those shots against this Warriors zone defense. And the Warriors kept fighting. They fought to the bitter end. And Pat Spencer was awesome. And Draymond was hitting threes. And they just could not match the energy and the shot making of Golden State in the second half for quite a long time. The Thunder really lacked their typical defensive intensity in the second half. It felt as though they went into halftime believing the game was already won. But OKC was able to turn it on, in large part because of SGA in the clutch. But they go on an 8-0 run, and that let them regain their balance. That let them steady the waters. And then Shai continues to be the best player in the clutch all season long. He continues to, even with having a shorthanded crew all season long, deliver wins and deliver big. Think about this stat. The Warriors got up by 1 point with 5 minutes left, and they still lost by 12. That's the dynamic of the Thunder. When they're on their stuff, when they're doing their job, they will swiftly blow you out. No matter how ugly the middling looks, they will win by double the figures. They will win comfortably. And all it took was 5 minutes to regain a double-digit lead and win by 12 after being down by 1. I do want to credit the Warriors for stepping up and fighting in this game. I mean, no Steph, no Horford. Jimmy Butler goes out early with an injury after he was really cooking to start the second quarter. And you've seldomly seen teams fight to this degree against Oklahoma City. You typically see teams pack it in when they get down by close to 20 points at intermission. This Warriors team didn't do that. This crowd was a big help to aid them on late in this game. But ultimately, you'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. And the Thunder won 124-112. They improved to 21-1 on the year, despite blowing a 22-point lead. And this is another key for OKC and why they are able to pull out these wins. Whenever, for 48 minutes, it's not going to look pretty the entire time. And there's going to be a stretch in this game that was making you pull your hair out and you were questioning your life decisions. And you were thinking to yourself, man, I'm staying up way too late to watch this game. It's going to be a pain at work tomorrow to watch this team have to lose this game. And now I got to go into work like a zombie. And they still won and won by 12 because the Thunder keep games within striking distance. No matter how bad they're playing, they never just get buried. And so for as great as the Warriors played in the third quarter, and really for the whole second half, and for as frustrating as it was to watch this Thunder team, and many of you who voiced your frustrations in the comments and on Twitter, the Warriors only grew a 4-point lead at any point in this game. And that's nothing. That's no margin of it. That's no margin in the modern NBA. And once the Thunder refocused, once the Thunder flipped that switch and got back into gear, and whatever analogy you want to use, they not only overcame a 4-point deficit, but they won comfortably. They withstood 10 lead changes, 2 ties. They got out-rebounded by 1 rebound, which is in this game, I would have loved to see the Thunder rebound better because it's explainable why they lose the rebounding battle during this stretch without Isaiah Hartenstein. But for the most part, all things considered, it was small ball on small ball, and they out-small balled you in the second half on the glass. But ultimately, the margin was 1 on the rebounding battle. Both teams had 15 turnovers. OKC won points in the paint, 58-42. Golden State won second chance points, 10-4, and then fast break points with OKC, 14-9. Again, the Thunder shot 58% from the floor, 46% from 3, and 73% at the free throw line. They've got to capitalize on free throws as they have all season long. All season long, they've been way better than this at the free throw line. Tonight, they were not. Golden State shot 45% from the floor, 42% from 3, and 80% at the charity stripe to keep this game relatively close and obviously keep themselves in the lead at the 5-minute mark until they eventually let go of the rope to OKC. But all that being said, I thought that the Thunder navigated being shorthanded really well. I thought that Mark did a really good job in this game. The late challenge to reverse the out-of-bounds call and get the Thunder the ball back, which is getting them a stop in the clutch. That was a great challenge by Mark. It was especially a low-leverage great challenge by Mark to not even think about it and just do it because at worst, you lose a timeout. At best, you gain a possession and keep your timeout. They got the best-case scenario out of the deal. And then in this game, I like that Mark didn't panic because I know that everybody cares so preciously about this trace of the record and winning 70-plus games. I'm here to tell you, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And I don't believe that it's at the forethought of their minds at Thunder HQ. Let's just put it that way. I don't believe that it's really something that they're striving for. If they happen to, which sounds silly, if they happen to stumble into 70-plus wins, then so be it. But in this game, I think that it showed you what they're about. They're about doing things the right way. And to me, the right way tonight was exactly what Mark did. There was a stretch in that third quarter where everything was going wrong, and you were about 2 minutes away from the mandatory timeout. He just let those guys play. See if they can figure it out. You're going to have to call the timeout anyway, around the 3-minute mark. Let them see if they can get themselves out of this on the court. Now, they couldn't, but you want to stress test those guys. You have a shorthanded rotation. That doesn't mean that you dramatically alter anything that you're doing. Still play Shai as normal minutes, still play Chet his normal minutes, still play JDub as normal minutes, still play your same rotation. Shai comes back into this game at the 6:30 mark. That's actually a little bit later than usual on the games in which he needs to play the fourth quarter. Like, this is a valuable developmental tool to put guys like Wiggins, Joe, J. Will, etc. in the midst of a competitive environment, in the midst of a crowd that had a lot of juice, in the midst of a game in which you're on the wrong side of things, momentum-wise, and see how they handle that pressure. Because had you ended up losing this game, it doesn't factor into anything of what your big picture goal is. Your big picture goal is repeating as champions. And in the meantime, you saw great plays by AJay Mitchell, Cason Wallace, JDub, Chet in the fourth quarter without Shai on the floor. And then you saw Shai come in and help carry them to a win. I thought that Mark not panicking and not dramatically altering his patterns whenever he's shorthanded and shrinking the rotation and riding these guys, not into the ground, but riding these guys hard in a game like this ahead of 2 off days. I thought that showed great maturity from Mark to put these guys in unique positions and in a developmental tool that you don't always get, and a developmental tool that coaches don't always give their teams. Think about this. You had an off day on Monday. You have 2 off days coming up. That's already a pretty rarely spacious week with another off day coming Saturday after the Friday game against Dallas. It's already been pretty spacious this week. You could have justified playing Chet more. You could have justified playing Shai more and JDub more to offset the losses to, no Caruso, no Dort, no Ihart. But keeping things status quo, even if you would have lost this game, is more beneficial to you in the long term. And the Thunder are always, to me, thinking about the long term. I thought that was great by him, and it really was awesome. And eventually, you get rewarded for it, and you also have the flexibility to do that because of how great that Shai is. Because that listen, these guys might give up the lead. These guys might blow a 22-point lead. I believe that these guys aren't going to get this team down by, 10, 11. And anything within single digits, I feel pretty confident Shai's going to come in, change the game, and win the game. And so, that also led into, I think, the decision-making, too, because Shai comes in at the 6:30 mark, and from there, it's a whole new ballgame. From there, the Thunder get back to being up double figures. From there, the Thunder win the game. So I think that Mark coached a really good game today, despite the results in the second half. And a lot of it's on the players. He can't get out there and not turn the ball over. And you're going to have to put these guys in positions to get the film, to get the experience, to make better decisions next game. And by and large, this is a low turnover group anyway. But anyway, that's what I thought about Mark and the game as a whole. But I'm going to tell you why Shai is the MVP coming up. But first, I want to say right now, but our good friends over at Game Time, folks, let me tell you, there's nothing better than being in the arena. And you're going to want to be in the arena both for the NBA season, but also let me tell you about the World Cup coming up. It's back in North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams vying for the first time ever in North America, since 1994, you're going to want to see this massive event. And let's be honest, getting tickets to something so massive, it's the hardest part. And that's where Game Time comes in, and they come in clutch on the Game Time app. They finally are giving fans a real advantage. You finally have an app that gives you the advantage when it comes to snagging seats. Make sure you go to Game Time right now because you can track price drops in real time and get starts whenever people get the great seat options at Game Time with great seats opening at Game Time for events like the World Cup. You can track the pricing in real time. That way you put the power back in your hands, and it makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of seemingly impossible for you and I. And so with Game Time, making it realistic to get to events like the World Cup is why I love it so much. You pull up the app and the layout makes it so simple to scroll through matchups and compare seat views, pick a game, tap a section, and have your tickets locked in within minutes. No confusion, no hunting for the fine print. They have it all for you. Game Time is incredible to help you navigate how to get these tickets because the fees are up front, which I love. No surprise fees at checkout is a great thing. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets, every match, concert, and event, including NBA games with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Again, you download the app, make your account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off at Game Time. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Game Time. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder podcast, on the Lockdown Podcast Network, your teams every day. Here talking about OKC and their win over Golden State, and SGA showing you why he's the MVP. He had that step back three going early and often. And we talked about this all summer this is a player who every year of his career has came back to the table better. And how could you possibly do that after leading the league in scoring and sweeping every MVP award, winning a championship? And yet he has. And he's done it in the two areas of which that we dreamed about in the summertime. I was like, if you had to pick something for Shai to improve upon, it'd be his playmaking and three-point shooting. Both of those things continue to make the team better. Both those things continue to make him individually better. Because if he can knock down threes and you've really got to close out to him at that point, it opens up the floor for him as an individual scorer. And if he can put guys in advantageous spots and create easy looks for guys, it helps a half-court offense that labored at times last postseason. And the step-back three is something that shined through in this game. The second to last possession of the half, he hit one. One of the opening possessions of the game, he hit one. In the fourth quarter, late, he hit one. In the third quarter, he had a big one whenever the team was really trailing. And again, not trailing, but losing momentum. But again, 5 for 6 from three in this game. 5 for 6. And what is so encouraging about this stretch from three for Shai is that on these attempts, they're either his step back three that he's worked on since 2020 or open catch and shoot threes. And why I feel encouraged that it's not just a hot streak of him shooting the ball. Now, look, you can play with the numbers and look at it from, like I have done before, like November 9th until now, he's shooting 50% from three. Yes, that shot making to that degree, 50%, is a bit outrageous. But in the grand scheme of things, being around a 40% three-point shooter on the season, I don't think that that's too much to ask for. Or I think that it's encouraging that could be sustained because his mechanics are so much better. You look at what he used to do whenever he used to shoot these step-back threes, and especially he'd do them early in the season around this time period, never to the success that he's had right now. But when he used to pull out the step-back three overly hard, it would be these long, exaggerated step-back threes that took a long time to leave his hand. Now, there's no wasted movements. He gets the ball out quick, and he's efficient with it both in his mechanics and also in the results. And the tweaks he's made to his shot, I think is what gives you such comfort, along with the production and percentage, that this could be a sustainable force for him. And in this game, he continued to improve as a playmaker. He had a couple of nice assists to Cason Wallace, the highlight being where at the timeline, he fires in a bounce pass to Cason. It looked like Resto Oladipo out there to Cason at the rim for 2 easy points, which was the dagger in the game. He continues to make the right reads. And I thought that you really saw him today try to attack the zone defense. And the zone defense overall did give OKC some trouble, but there was an example where he's coming down against this zone defense, understanding that the zone's going to collapse onto him, kicks it out for a wide open catch and shoot triple. And so I think that was a good playmaking moment for him coming off of a DHO late in the shot clock. That scenario immediately draws 3 Warriors to him. And they're thinking that the play has to end with Shai because the shot clock is dwindling down. He fires at the Cason in the dunker spot for 2 free throws because Draymond came over late and got his 5th foul. It's a silly foul by Draymond, honestly, in foul trouble. Should have let Cason have the 2 easy points, but that was a moment from Shai that really you saw him bend the defense and read the defense at a high level. And then it's just the normal stuff that you always see. It's creating space in the phone booth in the mid-range. It's shooting with guys draped all over him. It's the stop and start of his game. It's the jump stop jumpers. It's all the things that you're used to seeing from him. He closes the half on an 8-0 run by himself. He was just awesome tonight in this game, and he very much consistently carried this team. And while we're talking about the improved playmaking, while we're talking about a game that got out of hand turnover-wise for Oklahoma City, while we're talking about a zone defense that was really active for Golden State, Shai, the highest usage guy on the team, 0 turnovers in this game. 0. Now, he's been a low turnover guy, especially compared to usage his whole career. But this year, it's taken an even step further. And being a 0 turnover guy in this game was really impressive 38 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, 5 for 6 from 3 is still just remarkable. And then 61% from the floor, 7 for 10 from the charity stripe, including a free throw wedgie that I've never seen before. A guy get a wedgie on a free throw. I don't know. It feels like he's missing too many free throws, and way more than he typically does. I don't know what's going on with that. As an old wise man once said, you got to relax at the line. If you've ever been to the old Aggie gym in Lawton, Oklahoma, you know that very well. Maybe he just simply needs to relax at the line. But Shai and his ability to have a change of pace blended with the brute strength of shrugging guys off of him and shouldering guys off of him, mixed with his ability for his footwork to come through for him on these jump stop jumpers, on these spinning through the lane opportunities at the rim. It all comes together so well, and it's so unique in how he's able to get to his buckets and how he's able to dictate how a game goes on the offensive end. And right now you're seeing him just in this flow state of truly reading every part of the game. We talked about him reading it as a passer a little bit ago, but also knowing that Draymond was infallible from the word go, relentlessly attacking Draymond at the rim to get Draymond's third foul, to where, knowing that Draymond, I should say, already has 3 fouls and he can't contest, so he can't climb the paint and contest you at the rim. He's kind of just got to let you go. He knew that. He spotted that, got right down there to Draymond, went up and got an easy finish at the rim. I thought that he was overall really good in this game, throws the defense off balance completely, takes his bump shoulders. He was just awesome in this game, and he continues to be the constant for this team. And that's what makes him the MVP, is that when other guys don't win, you make up the excuses for him of like, well, didn't have this guy, didn't have that guy. Or, well, it's a back-to-back. Or, well, doesn't have a good enough team. With Shai, you've quite literally seen him subtract every single piece of this rotation, and yet they sit at 20-1. 21-1 right now. He continues to find ways to win. He continues to create wins. You could see in this game how different the tone and tenor of the contest was with him off the floor versus him on the floor. You could see that Draymond hit that 3 to erupt the Chase Center and send the game into a timeout. And if you didn't know that Shai was coming back in the game, you'd be pretty nervous. And not only does he come back in and get the win, he comes back in and leads a comfortable win for Oklahoma City. I don't know how you can deny that he's the MVP. I really don't. I don't know how you can deny he's the MVP. But alas, it'll still be a debate, and ultimately it doesn't truly matter, especially now that he's bagged one. But he is certainly the MVP for me, leading the league in clutch points, closing out these games to get this team a win, being 21-1, and being the constant. He's the only guy who's been in every single game. Whenever you look at his peers and you look at his supporting cast of this team that he kind of gets detracted from for having such a good team. Some of them are good largely because of Shai and because of his table setting ability that you've seen this year. He's also extremely active defensively. He had a steal tonight. I just think that Shai is playing out of this world great for this team and for himself, and it's benefiting everybody. And it's nothing he does ever detracts from the ultimate goal of winning. Nothing he does ever detracts from the team, and it's also just efficient for himself and for the team at large. Thunder 21-1. It was the different verse, same as the first game. We've seen this now, a trend for the last couple of nights where they get to a messy spot. Shai comes and cleans it up. He's Captain Clutch, and he wills you to a win at the end. He did that again today. He was awesome, and I think he's the MVP. Coming up, we'll tell you about JDub, who I thought had his best game since returning. But first, I want to say right now, pretty good friends over at Robinhood. Go check out Robinhood today because Robinhood is great, folks. And when you look at Robinhood, what if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy and sell your positions live. So all game long, you can use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action, and you can see how the momentum is shifting, and you can move it too. I love the new game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge from my love of the game. Now I can actually take part in live market powered by the people action. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the US. Download the Robinhood app now to begin, folks. We're back on the Lockdown Thunder podcast on the Lockdown Podcast Network, your teams every day. I thought that this was JDub's best game since he returned. I mean, the first possession, he goes left, rises up, baseline fadeaway, knocks it down. Off of a possession reset, he gets the ball, goes right to the rim, gathers low, brings the ball up strong, finishes through traffic. He had a great drive, rejecting the screen, plowing through the paint, getting a slam. Like, this was all early on in the game where you could really see him get his pace of play back. You could really see him take ownership of how he wants to play and create separation for himself, both in the mid-range and barreling to the rim. Full speed ahead downhill in this game relentlessly. I think that whenever you look at this game, he let it come to him. He didn't press the issue, but he was more assertive. And there's a difference in pressing and being assertive. And that's where you saw him tonight get to 22 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, a block, 56% shooting from the floor, 0 for 4 from 3. He previously only took 1 3 in the first 2 games of the year. Took 4 tonight, didn't make any of them, but only missed 3 shots inside the arc, 4 for 4 at the free throw line as he gets to the line 4 times tonight. He had a huge block in transition at the rim by Will Richard. Nails a shot in the paint, which really kept the Thunder's head above water during that stretch where they were really kind of struggling with the secondary unit. I thought that ultimately he really played some of his best basketball. You look at the way that he kept trying to find Chet in this game, finding him as a dump-off option off of drives, lobbing it to him, putting Chet in a position to try to score, especially in that fourth quarter, and then slices through the lane, takes contact, finishes at the rim to make it 116-109 with 2 minutes left. You felt pretty good at that moment in time as he finishes the game at 22 points. And I think that overall you're seeing him really round into form, really round into the player that you've typically seen from him and the top 20 player that he is. And tonight was the biggest game in which you felt his impact illustrated to you. Because before, it's like, well, I can keep telling you how important it is to have JDub, but they keep winning. And perhaps you kind of fell into this lull of like, yeah, Jib's a good player, and I understand he's a good player, but they just keep winning. So how much better can this really get? It's about the poise. It's about trusting him with the ball in his hands. It's about the shots he can create. Because if you replay this game and pluck him out of the fourth quarter with Shai on the bench to start that fourth quarter, with the momentum already tilting towards Golden State and then fully going to Golden State, it plays out a lot differently. And this was a game you really needed him, and he came through for this team in the fourth, and he's only going to get better from here as he continues to gain more comfort being back on the floor. Chet, I thought that he was reading the floor super well early on, rolling to the rim, getting an easy bucket on the dish from SGA, drives in off the catch, sees the help of Pods coming over from the corner, kicks it to AJ for the wide open catch and shoot 3. Great assist there from Chet. Great decision there from Chet. Got a put back dunk off of a JDub cut and missed layup in traffic. Buries a 3 whenever Draymond Green refuses to come out to defend him around the top of the key, perhaps the break of the 3. I don't remember at this point. Gets the ball, sealing off Gary Payton II in the post. And with this, I loved his patience here because he could have just tried to attack GP2 right away. But instead, he has his back to him, takes a couple of dribbles, sees that help defender come over, swings it to AJ, who makes the one more pass and eventually gets the ball to JDub on the other side of the perimeter at the 3-point line, where now JDub can attack against a slanted Warriors defense, which is way on the weaker side of the floor. JDub can just go right to the rim and get a finish there. So it kind of set JDub up adjacently by his patient approach whenever he had the mismatch in the paint. Barreled his way to the rim multiple times this game to the point where he got 2 charges, but I'd much rather see that aggression from JDub than not. Capitalize on those lobs from JDub in the fourth quarter, which were easy points. Rip through the paint off the dribble to get a finish in the fourth quarter, and then splash the key at the top of the 3 to regain the lead for OKC off of the Cason Wallace dish. Great job by Cason driving and kicking into that Warrior zone defense. And ultimately, Chet finishes with 21 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 2 for 3 from 3, 8 for 12 from the floor, which is 66% for those of you keeping track at home, 3 for 3 at the free throw line. AJay Mitchell really poised in this game. like the opening catch and shoot opportunity that he got. He had made a really good defensive play on Jimmy Butler, who again had gotten going at this point, forces Jimmy to bobble the ball. Jimmy still wants to shoot, so he doesn't give him really any space to get the shot off. Jimmy launches a shot, misses it. Great contest. Drew the illegal screen twice, including another foul on Draymond Green, who got into foul trouble early and often in this game. He had the shot fake to really put his defender out of position and get to the rim, and utilizes a floater in the paint to not let the Golden State Warriors challenge the shot, and that led to a Warriors timeout. Hit another catch and shoot three in a big spot after the Warriors made it a 1-point game in that third quarter to rebalance some cushion there, and then executes the 2-for-1 perfectly. Ball in his hands, sets Shai up for a step back three whenever AJ is the one who brings the ball down the floor and waits to deliver it to Shai until about 8 seconds on the shot clock, wants to capitalize on this 2-for-1 scenario, and SGA delivers. And the play of the night from AJay Mitchell during the NBC introductions, they have started to do this football style introductions where you say your name and your university you went to, your school you went to. AJay Mitchell, who is from Belgium, says AJay Mitchell, Belgium Waffles University on the NBC intro. Heady play by AJ. One of the first, I think the first, honestly, NBA player to go that route on the intros. It's obviously a common bit in football, and he would be a massive underdog to predict who on this team, which is full of characters, would pull out a funny university name instead of their actual school. AJ would have been well below JDub. Like JDub was the leader lock in the clubhouse to do this, and it's AJ who pulls it out, and he goes Belgium Waffles University on NBC, ends up with 10 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 for 3 from 3, 66% from the floor. I thought that Kenrich was a really steadying presence. I saw at one point whenever the Warriors first had some life in that second quarter, he forces AJ to come down the floor and pressure full court. It gets the ball out of the hot hand, leads to a stop on the other end, and really starts to spark that second quarter strong close, which got them up by 22 points eventually. And also, he capitalizes on his catch and shoot opportunities, including in semi-transition, runs the floor to cap off a 24-14 run with a nice cut to the rim in transition, ends up with just 5 points, 2 boards, and 2 assists, but you could really feel his leadership impact in this game. And then Wiggins. Wiggins had a tale of two halves kind of game. First half did a lot of good things. I thought that in the first half, whenever he scored 9 points in the second quarter alone, you felt really good. He blocked Pat Spencer at the rim to end the Warriors' possession. He has this long stride, gathering the ball on the opposite side of his body, using his frame as a shield to the defender, and laying up a finger roll for an easy bucket, buried a catch and shoot 3, and then also in transition, finishes through contact at the rim, which has been a great sign to see him do that. He didn't get the foul call, but you like to see him finish at the rim through contact in this game, because coming into this game, he's shooting a career low at the rim, and that's an area that he could really improve upon, even though he's had a great start to the year. And so you're thinking at halftime, okay, 9 points, couple great rim finishes, knocked down a catch and shoot 3. You're thinking that this could be a Wiggins game. In the second half, it was not a Wiggins game. It was not a Wiggins game at all. He finishes in total with 11 points, and going 1 for 5 from 3 is really what did him in. And there's going to be nights like this where, it's like that song, "Ooh, child, things are going to get easy." Wait, is that the song that says that? That says, things are going to get brighter someday. One day? I don't know. There's going to be days like this. There's going to be days like this. That's a song, right? It might not be that song, though. Anyway, there's going to be nights where, Mama said there'd be days like this. There'd be days like this, Mama said. That's not the same song I was just singing, but I knew that was a song eventually. Anyway, 1 for 5. There's going to have bad shooting nights. He had one tonight. He was perfect inside the arc, which was encouraging, but only with 11 points after starting out with 9 in the second quarter. Was not what you would expect. 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Isaiah Joe continues to bury timely triples, 3 for 4 from 3, 9 points in total. 3 rebounds and 3 assists, including hitting one late in that fourth quarter run to really feel like OKC had swung back the momentum to themselves. And then Kaysen, 2 blocks, a steal, an assist, 6 rebounds, 4 points. Got a pick 6 in this game to spark a Warriors timeout. And also, he won a Defensive Player of the Month in the Western Conference because he leads the West in deflections. And you're seeing how valuable the deflections are on the second possession of the game when he gets a deflection in the paint, forces the ball to bobble around. At the time that the Warriors get the ball and we're able to reset, the shot clock's already expired, and it's just ending a possession. Doesn't necessarily get a stat for that in the true box score, but a legitimate stop spurred on and completely by Cason Wallace. So ultimately, OKC gets a win. It was not pretty all the time. It was not smooth all the time by any stretch of the imagination, but they do win it, and they are 21-1. Coming up this week, still a lot for you. Tomorrow's show, we'll have Bren Rabar. On Friday's show, we'll have Justin Martinez of the Oklahoman. We'll have that Mavericks recap for you as well. And then we also still have our Thursday, 3:30 p.m. live with Jeremy Lamb and Tyler Jones for our squad show. We also have a Derek Parker live stream at 2 p.m. on Locked On Thunder, where we're going to recap the week that was for OKC and talk all about our biggest takeaways. So a lot of content still to come on Locked On Thunder this week. Make sure you subscribe anywhere you get your podcast from, including on YouTube. And until next time, folks, be good and be good to one another.